Good evening, and welcome to the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast. It is May 28th, 2024. That would make this, episode 181, I think. And yes, it is the evening. I have been struggling to get out these episodes daily at 8 a.m., especially with all the traveling that I've been doing. Those of you who follow the podcast know that I was in Missouri over the weekend, collaborating and creating content with the incredibly funny and talented Elizabeth Weichert. I had so much fun. We filmed a bunch of just wacky, funny videos, wacky costumes that I never thought I would ever catch myself wearing. But I did, and we did. And she already released one of those videos on her social media channel, Elizabeth Weichert. Go check it out. Super fun time. So, I am back in town, but only for a few days because I'm about to turn around and head out of town again to Las Vegas. I've got two very big shows for me anyway, coming up this weekend at the Notoriety Theater in Las Vegas. Very excited about these shows. I have performed at this venue before a couple of years ago, but this is a very different format. So I will be co-headlining with another comedian who I have met before, although I know I have met him before, but I can't even think of what he looks like right now. That's what's going on. That's where my head is at. And what's interesting is this comedy show was initially booked by a good friend of mine who wanted to have a triple headliner show up there in Vegas. And then the guy who put it all together, my buddy, had to back out of the show. So it was supposed to be three of us. Now it's two of us. And again, I did a show. The only reason I even know I did a show with him is because he called me a couple weeks ago and said, "Hey, it's me. Yeah, we met at this other show." And I barely even remember the show. I am crushing life, everybody. So, excited to do these shows. I am going to be doing a longer set. Those of you who follow the podcast know that I have been rewriting my entire act from scratch. So it will be interesting to see how I do with a longer set. And, that's just what I've been trying to do, is just really get meticulous with this new material, really hone it in. I had a chance to do some of this material Sunday night at a show in Kansas City. And overall, it went pretty well. What was interesting about this audience is there's all types of audiences. And some audiences are a little too good, at least in terms of being an accurate representation to me as the comedian in terms of how funny my material is. Meaning you can get false positives if the audience is a little too gracious. And what was interesting about this audience on Sunday is they were great, but they were not super gracious. They were fair in terms of how funny your material is. Plus, it was a smaller audience. It was at this sort of cocktail lounge. The audience is a little more spread out. Sometimes when you just get a bunch of people in a room and they're all packed into a tight space, as a lot of comedy shows are designed to be that way on purpose, it can be a lot easier to get laughs. And audiences may have a tendency to just laugh because they're having a good time and the comedian attempted to say something funny, so we'll laugh. So what was interesting with this audience on Sunday is they were very great. It's not like they were rude. They weren't heckling. They were there to have a good time. They were there to laugh. But if something wasn't really funny, it was they weren't going to give you charity laughs. And there wasn't really that type of energy that you get when you have a lot of people in a room, to where the energy starts building and people will just continually laugh. And so you kind of have to win them over with each joke and with each tag. And so being in that sort of environment exposed some weaknesses in the new material, exposed a couple weaknesses in a couple of my tags, and even in a couple of the jokes that I was still playing with and still trying to figure out. And so, yeah, it was a good experience to go through that. And I rewrote some of my material based off of that, going, okay, I think I have enough experience with this tag to know that this ain't working, or it's not working enough, or even when it did work, it wasn't like it was killing. And so I think it's good to move on from that. And there were a couple of jokes that have been kind of on the iffy block with me that I just went, yeah, I think this audience was a good litmus test that this is probably not a good enough joke to continue rolling with. And at the same time, I was able to get some very positive feedback on a couple of jokes that, again, I didn't really think were the good jokes. And this will happen a lot with comedians. It's like, this is what we think is going to be the really funny thing. And then we have this other thing that we just maybe throw in there. And it's that other thing that actually ends up getting the consistent big laugh. And so and that was happening throughout my set. And so I rewrote, and when I say rewrite, it's not like I blew the whole thing up, but I tweaked a handful of the jokes and of the tags based off of that experience there in Kansas City, Missouri. And now I am getting ready for my show in Las Vegas. So really excited to see how that goes, and how this new material does yet in another market. So I did 10 minutes at an open mic in Vegas last week where I did a lot of this material, and it went very well, especially for an open mic. And so it'll be interesting to see now, how does this play with all the refinements I've made in front of a paying audience on a Friday and a Saturday night in Las Vegas? And the short answer is, I don't know. That's just this process that needs to happen for, I think, material to truly get to a point to where it is really doing well. So really looking forward to Las Vegas this weekend. And other than that, I have really just been regrouping from this weekend over in Missouri. So grateful to Elizabeth for letting me come crash at her house and just film a bunch of content, and to be able to collaborate with her. And so grateful to have, again, these incredible artists and supportive people in my life who are wanting to see me succeed and wanting to collaborate and help me be successful. So we're going to keep it a little short today, since I know I'm getting this out late, and I will have more things to talk about tomorrow, because there are some other fun things that I am starting up tonight, and I will let you all know about those tomorrow. But for now, keep dreaming, everybody. I hope your dreams are going well. I am so grateful to all of you who listen, and I hope that you are taking at least a little bit of motivation and inspiration to move forward with whatever it is that is important to you, whatever is calling to you in your life, and that you are moving forward with whatever steps you are able to take with whatever resources you have available, and that you are finding joy and fulfillment in the journey. All right, everybody, that is all for today. The Paul Green Comedy PaulCast, a podcast by a dreamer for all your dreamers out there. May 28th, 2024, episode 181. I will check in with you all tomorrow.